The sun over the night, the adventure of Palaie. The clouds and the sky are fighting with each other. It was a weary walk for Palaie. She has been walking for 8 days now, already crossed several steep mountains, perilous waters, and her borsa which she brought with her long expedition is almost empty. All she had left is a crust of bread, and her Ursius content for now is only a dollop of foul-smelling water. Despite her situation, her numbing feet, even she feels a throbbing pain with her every step, Palaie is as dedicated as when she left their Ovidium. She only has one hope for now, to get to the Kanawat Temple of Helios. Long ago, before she left her town Kalka, in her birth town, the heavy downpour has been continuing for 2 decades, 2 years after Palaie was born. This had led to simultaneous torrent, and the hammering made every people left their town. Anta, more desperate and find everyday living much very of a challenge. And those who had died, their souls are still in despair seeking for freedom. Since their town is a valley placed between mountains, and the mountains in their province is too dangerous to be a domicile, since it is a home for different kinds of aggressive animals, and others expected and experienced that the mountain land is also a home for spiritual entities, both good and the bad. The local of Anta still chose to stay on the valley to continue their living there, due to the horror brought by the mountain and the idea that it will be easy for them to stay living at the valley since it is not far from their capital and to their place of works. And more importantly, it is close to that land where they can plant their crops such as wheat, grains, and grapes for their liquors. The people of Anta, which is situated in Peru, worship and believe to the Almighty Zeus, the leader of the Olympians, the mightiest of all gods. Since they have found the place and called it Anta, they have worshipped Zeus, even before the disastrous downpour struck them. Due to their unwavering faith to the god, on the day of its annual festival that is being celebrated by the Antas, they place a golden statue of him with a towering size that of the height of the half of the Mount Olympus, next to the longest river in Anta, which also has its beauty even at night, as its crystal clear water reflects the light of the day, and even that of the exquisite light of the night, where Nyx, the goddess of the darkness, visit the river to her feet fingers, as the water in the river is so clean that even the Anta local drinks it. One night, after the Anta feast celebration for the honor of Zeus, the primordial goddess of the darkness, Nyx, visit the river of Anta to clean her foot. She happens to saw the golden statue of Zeus. It is so towering that the river had been darkened by its shadow. Even the goddess of the darkness finds it very unpleasant to look at night, because the reflection of her beloved moon has been blocked by the enormous statue of Zeus. Due to the goddess' anger, she shouted loudly, a shout that is a cacophony that woken up the whole village of Anta, after which the goddess raised her hands on the sky and cursed the village. People of Anta, hear and fear. The mockery you did on my favorite spot makes this biggest and unfortunate plot. From now and then, an unstopping rain will consume half of this town, so that the shine of my moon will shine on it upon. Just after the goddess spoke, her figure became a dark shadow and rose up to the sky. Then, a flood from the river rose from the ground, and a heavy rain started to fall from the sky. The leader of the town and queen and his wife Fordusica, parents of Palaie, holding their 2-year-old daughter, ran to the dark and dangerous mountain. However, just before they stepped out of the trembling water, and Queen and Fordusica was grabbed by an unknown force of the water. It is like that there are hands under their feet and is pulling for them. In the midst of the fight for their life, they happened to saw Creso, the oracle of their town. As what the couple saw, Creso is the only survivor of the disaster caused by the goddess. She shows no sign of being in the water as there are no bloodstains on her tunics caused by the strong waves of the water that can cut the skin. They hurriedly pled the man, "Oh Creso, please, please, save our only daughter. We pled to you. Just please." The man is so scared to get close to the water, not until Anquin speaks. "Creso, I am sorry. I am deeply sorry for not listening to your advice. To your advice not to build the statue of that enormous. If only I just listened, this wouldn't have happened. I recognize my mistakes. But please, do me a favor as your friend. Please save my daughter. Please." Creso was so moved by the words of his old friend that he raised and forwarded a piece of cloth tied with a long rope, so that Anquin can wrap his daughter and let Creso pull her out of the rushing water. Right after Creso pulled the rope with the cloth being wrapped to the very young Palaie, the couple was thrown to the deep of the water and was brought to the depths of the river. Years have passed. Palaie grown as a beautiful and fine girl. Creso now was very old and only do his duty as an oracle if it's the day of Friday. After the downpour, the two moved to the nearby town, Kalka, because Anta becomes inhabitable. It is no longer possible to plant crops due to the high level of water. The only thing that can now be seen in Anta is the head of the golden statue of Zeus. Creso, as he respects his friendship with Anquin, raised Palaie as his own, taught her everything he knows, even those of the oracle things. One night, Creso fell into a deep sleep. In his sleep, he saw in his dream that the soul of the people who had died in the downpour disaster in Anta are still in despair, still finding justice about their unfair death. She also saw that there is a key to make those souls free from despair, and it is the rain will stop. After he woke up, he looked at Palaie desperately, as she reminds him of his late fiancée, Adeline. It is still fresh on his mind, the day he foreseen the disaster. Anta will face upon the building the enormous golden statue of Zeus. After he foreseen the future events, he told the whole story to the locals of Anta, but no one listened to him. He then gone to the leader of Antas, Anquin, but he also does not give any attention to the prophecy of Creso, because they are busy preparing to the feast dedicated to Zeus. The only person who believed in him was Adeline, yet, on the day of the feast, they have argued since Adeline changed her mind over his fiancé's prophecy, because the golden statue was already been made for 7 days, but still, the prophecy is not happening. Heartbroken, Creso leaves Anta during the time of the feast. He then returned later that night and saw the horrifying events caused by the flood. Not so far away, he saw his beloved fiancée, and he was not able to do a thing to save her since the water rushes so fast that the waves can be compared to a steel knife cutting on a piston force heavenly waves. He was so desperate at that time, and his emotion got stronger when he saw Anquin and his family. When Anquin requested him to do him a favor, he refused, but his conscience moved, so he took Palaie with him. Creso then got a bright idea on his mind. It is to find Helios, the god of the sun, after the disaster they faced. They reached to Zeus and asked for help to reverse all the events happened in Anta. But Zeus didn't dare to help them as he was so scared of Nyx. Nyx was so powerful that when Zeus got angry to Nyx's son, Hypnos, the god of sleep, Hypnos ran to his mother's cave, and Zeus, horrified, was so scared to take a single step towards the cave. With this Creso's idea, He saw in his mind that it can be a possible way to make the downpour in Anta stop with the help of Helios, but Creso is already far from his youth. He is too already old to be on a quest. Upon knowing her adoptive father's plan, the courageous Palaie offered him to make her the one who will take on this journey of finding Helios. Creso is hesitant to Palaie's offer. He was very worried about his adoptive daughter, but Palaie was insisting. Over the past 18 years, Palaie becomes a strong, courageous, and independent woman. The worry of Creso led him to do a fortune-telling on Palaie. Even on that day, it's Wednesday. He sees everything. When Palaie asked him, he did not utter any word, but smiled on her. He hugged her tightly and murmured on her, "I've always loved you. I know you can do this. I believed in you. You can fix the past." Palaie knows that Creso will not state what he saw in order not to delay or alter what he had saw on his oracle. It was on Friday morning when the two bid goodbyes. Before Palaie left their house, Creso made a reminder for her. "You will be gone for 3 journeys before you meet the sun god. On the first journey, remember not to lie. On the second journey, remember not to steal. And on the third journey, remember not to trust quickly." Palaie nodded to his adoptive father and hugged him tightly, and then leaves, heading to La Punta, Peru, to ride a ship leading to Athens, Greece. He arrived at the La Punta in a Monday morning. The sky was clear and calm, and the sun was an egg yolk resting on the sky. Palaie walks towards the ship and rode on it. On the way to the shore of Athens, a storm struck them. The god of the seas, Poseidon, emerged from the depth of the water. Stupid ship, full of filthy liars. One of you steals from one of my followers. Come and taste this heat of my wrath." The mad god struck the ship by using his trident. All of the ship's passengers fell into the water, and so is Palaie. Palaie got to Poseidon face to face. "You girl, you're not from this town, aren't you?" Poseidon said. "I am from Calca. I came here to find Helios, my lord," Palaie replied. Poseidon, by the use of his powers, without making Palaie notice, proved that Palaie's words are true. He then realized that he has no business with Palaie, so he left her and looked for the man who have made him angry. Palaie was successful to get to the shore of Athens. She is now heading to the temple of Helios, situated in Kanawat. She started her 15-day journey to the temple. On her is a boysa with bread and fruits, her Arceus, and her short sword. A long journey awaits her. She will climb 16 steep mountains and cross 11 long rivers. So having a short sword might help her in case some danger come at her. On her 8th day of long journey, everything becomes harder than it seems. Her feet start to feel numb. Her food and water supplies are all consumed already. He happens to pass by a small house within the forest. She saw its chimney smokes, leading her to conclude that there might be person inside that house. She then knocked at its doors. No one responded. She knocks again. Knock, knock. But still, no one answered. On her 3rd knock, it may be the force of her knock that opened up the door. After opening, she smells the fragrance newly cooked roasted chicken and sighed. She also noticed that the counter table of the room has spilled golden coins. She hears a sound from an unknown place. "Take it all. Take the golds. Eat the food. It's all yours, my dear." Just when she decided to take the gold and put it on her borsa, she remembers Creso's words. On the 2nd journey, do not steal. She decided to leave the house and doesn't get any of the house offers. She collapsed just when she exits the door, and she realized that there is really no house at all. She was just hallucinating due to the exhaustion caused by the long journey. She slowly closed her eyes to rest. When she woke up, she finds herself lying on a soft mattress, smell the no seductive scent produced by the flowers on the vase on a table in front of her bed. She wondered where she is right that moment. An old man entered her room and came to her. "Glad you're awake. You've been sleeping for 10 hours since this morning." Palaie stood and chose to continue her journey, as she knows that her journey to Kanawat is not far anymore. She thanked the man who saved her. Although the man may seem nice, he sees a hand of a woman drenched in blood under the chair he is sitting. So when she saw that, she chose to leave in a rush. Finally, Palaie was able to reach the temple of the god of the sun, Helios. There she made an offering to the god. She praised and did a ritual. Out of a sudden, the god shows himself and talked to Palaie. "You dear, courageous woman, I am amazed with your dedication to free those spirits of who are in despair when the goddess of the night cursed your land. When I disguised and tested your honesty, when I tested your integrity and intellect, you are a truly smart woman. And as a reward to your hardships, I have already talked to Nyx. Your town and its people are now free from the curse. You may now come back to your town and be its new leader. You learned from your mistake of the past, and I am granting you the knowledge to be the head oracle of Anta." The province of Anta was able to recover from the past, and Palaie has been the leader and head oracle of the town. Cressa was so proud of her, as well as her parents' soul. The end.